folks, my name is Mark. This is Why I Hate the World. How you guys doing? So this video is about the Charlie Hebdo attacks, which happened in France a couple days ago. So in case you don't know, which I don't see how you wouldn't know because everybody, I mean, it's on the news 24/7 almost. But in case you just, simply do not pay attention to what goes on around you, Charlie Hebdo is a magazine in France, like a weekly newspaper, basically. It was named after Charlie Brown because they used to publish Charlie Brown back in the 70s or whatever. So it's like a satirical weekly magazine kind of thing. And they published some cartoons featuring the Prophet Muhammad, and so a couple of gunmen raided their offices and killed a few of the lead cartoonists, which is really, really tragic. And the whole thing ended in a standoff inside of a kosher deli or supermarket or something, and an additional five customers in the supermarket were also killed before the cops raided the place and killed the two attackers. The 5 people that were killed were actually all Jewish, to my understanding. So, and all around, it's a pretty screwed up event, and it's really sad. My heart goes out to the families of the victims. That's one thing I think we should say before, making any kinds of videos after a tragic event like this, is that, we're with you, and we hope you the best. Anyway, a little background. So I guess this wasn't the first time that this particular magazine has been the victim of Islamic fundamentalists. There was an attack in 2006. There was another one in 2011, which I think it was a bombing. I think it looks pretty awful. So this one, however, is pretty. I don't know. It's pretty egregious. But anyway, this magazine has a long history of standing against right-wing fundamentalism, and not just Islam, but in right-wing fundamentalist Christians and, in general, Judaism and just religion in general. They're very, but it's not just that, but political, politics and political parties and all that stuff. So they're kind of their thing. I guess the closest American equivalent to this would be National Lampoon, but a little more political oriented, So, a couple of things. A lot of people are seeing this here in the States. They're kind of commenting on this as a free speech issue. And yeah, I mean, that's a good point, is that you shouldn't allow fundamentalists of any religion, not just Islam, but any religion, to scare you, This reminds me of the controversy behind Draw Muhammad Day, which I don't know if you remember that, but back in around 2010, 2011, there was a Norwegian cartoonist. It's funny how cartoonists are the ones that spark all these controversies, Anyway, so there was a Norwegian cartoonist who actually did some, drew some pictures of Muhammad, some cartoons making fun of Muhammad, and she got death threats. And the response to that was that people out on the internet took it upon themselves to all draw pictures of Muhammad. And it became kind of like the first, internet holiday, May 20th, Draw Muhammad Day. And that went on for a couple of years, and it kind of petered out after a little bit. And I'm thinking maybe this year it's probably going to come back. I don't know. Maybe I'm going to do it. Maybe I might be the only person left. I actually made a couple of Draw Muhammad cartoons in the past. And some people kind of say, like, well, because there's been a few people, like there's a guy named Bill Donahue, I think his name is. Like, he's gone on TV and basically Not only him, but also the editor of Charlie Hebdo. Kind of, they're basically saying like they're blaming the fact that they're saying that they provoked this attack from fundamentalists by making fun of religious Islamic fundamentalists. They provoked this attack on themselves. In fact, I think the thing that Donahue said on Fox actually was that, you know, it was kind of their fault. You know, like basically the point he was making is like it was sort of like taking a stick and going and beating a beehive with it, and then being surprised when bees come out. You know, well, I don't know. I mean, I can't really agree with that kind of attitude. I can understand, like, okay, it's not a good idea to provoke people that are known for violence, you know, especially Islamic fundamentalism. It's not like that in the past there hasn't been violence from those people, you know. But at the same time, it's sort of like people are not bees, you know what I mean? Like, people are not animals, you know. The argument that like this is like he's making it sound like this is just their natural reaction, and that's bullshit. Okay, people don't instantly like react and go on murder sprees. It's pre-planned, it's premeditated, you know, and it's something that, you know, they don't. It's not something like that. It's not like all you know, Muslims are violent, murderous people who are out of control and just can't help themselves and fly into like crazy, you know, kill crazy rampages whenever they see a picture of Muhammad. That's bullshit. You know what I mean? Like these, you know, you shouldn't be afraid, basically, when you hear, you shouldn't be afraid of expressing yourself, you know. I shouldn't have to, like, if I draw a picture of Muhammad, I shouldn't have to be in fear of my life. That's bullshit. You know, it's bullshit. It's fucking, that's what living in a free society means, right? And here's the thing is that, because I don't really see this as a freedom of speech issue, because really it's only the government that is supposed to infringe, you know, that can infringe on your freedom of speech, you know. I see this more as sickness of fundamentalism. You know what I mean? Like, I see this as a symptom of the sickness of religious fundamentalism. You know, because here's the thing, and this is why. These people didn't try to make it against the law to draw Muhammad. They instead went out and killed the offenders. Okay? Those are two different things. Like, if I'm you know, a Muslim and I get offended that a magazine draws a picture of Muhammad, and I go out and I organize people and I get a law passed saying that you're not allowed to do that anymore, that's infringing on freedom of speech. Okay? If I take a gun and I go blow that person away because they drew that, I'm not infringing on his freedom of speech. I'm infringing on his fucking life. Okay? These are different things, okay? It's not really censorship when you're killing somebody. I don't think so. I think to say that this is like a deal of censorship is missing the point. It's not censorship. It's fucking murder, you know? It's completely fucking different. See, one of the things that liberals, you know, I'm gonna talk some shit about liberals here for a minute, even though I'm pretty liberal. One of the fantasies that liberals have is that they think that everyone out there in the world, if they just kind of sat down and thought about it, that everybody would come to the same conclusions that they do. You know what I mean? That's one, and this conclusion being that, well, we should have, you know, freedom of expression, and you can have your freedom of religion too, and if somebody offends you, then oh well, and you know, it's never going to, so that's the thing, is that it's not going to happen, you know, when it comes to Islamic fundamentalism. This shit is never going to happen, you know. Crazy Islamic fundamentalists who go off and join terrorist groups are never going to see things from your point of view. You know what I mean? They're never, it's a fantasy to think that you can reason with these people when they're so crazy that they'll go kill someone for drawing a fucking picture, all right? So, and I don't know, and ultimately though, it's that kind of terrorism, that kind of using extreme force to enforce your ideology, I guess that's what this is. It's self-defeating because you're not going to scare people into not expressing themselves, especially in the West, you know. I mean, what happened a few days later after the attacks is that France basically went and supported the coalition against ISIS in Syria. that's what happened afterwards. There was a vote in the French Parliament, and it was like 400 and something to like 5. That, yeah, they're going to start sending troops. So basically, all they did was provoke France, and now France is going to go and like kill a bunch of like Muslims in the Middle East. I mean, so it's really just sad. I mean, all around, nobody really wins. You know, that's the real sad thing about terrorists. You know, terrorism is that the people that engage in the terrorism usually end up dying very soon afterwards. So they think they're going out and they're like, you know, fighting for like whatever ideals, or, you know, and they're going to lose because the people that they're supposedly fighting for just end up dying even more, you know, and that's been the result. It's really, I don't know, I just hope, I don't know, you know, I don't really see an end to it besides just dropping more bombs on these people. You can't reason with them, you know, and don't get me wrong, I mean, I'm the most anti-war person there is out there, you know. I think it was a major mistake for us to invade Afghanistan, to invade Iraq, you know, to engage in these drone strikes in Pakistan. I think that was all horribly wrong, right? But I don't see any other alternative, because the people there need to be fucking killed. I'm sorry, dude. The ISIS needs to be destroyed. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We can't leave because they'll fucking, if we leave, you know, if we stop fighting there and we just pull all of our troops out, it's too fucked up now. It's to the point now where if we just leave, that they're going to go around and they're going to like slaughter all the ethnic minorities and like kill all the, you know, all the people that oppose them, and they're going to force people to join them at gunpoint, and it's the entire area is going to become like Somalia. It's going to become like a failed state, and, you know, and it'll just be this giant clusterfuck. I mean, here's the thing, like, the same week that this happened, right, in Africa, I think in Nigeria, Boko Haram went and slaughtered an entire village of people, right, just a couple of days ago, right after the Charlie Hebdo attacks. This happened, and something like 2,000 people died in this attack where the Boko Haram went in and they burned down a bunch of houses, and they were just like, people were running into the jungle and they were just fucking shooting them as they were running away, and then like other people were trying to get across this river and like drowned, and the people that did survive, they got no place to go now, they're fucking refugees, right? That's what happens when this kind of terrorism, you know, runs unchecked, right? That's basically what happened in fucking Iraq and in Syria before, you know, Barack Obama sent, you know, troops back there. That's what was going on. You know, there's an ethnic group called the Yazidris, I think. Yazidris, I think is what they are. They're kind of an offshoot of Islam, and they're basically, Orthodox Islam considers these people to be Satan worshippers, and they were trapped on this mountain, and they were just being like, it was like genocide almost. They were just being slaughtered, you know. Something like 15,000 people were like stuck on this mountain with no food, no water, and that's what actually got, you know, Obama to send troops back there, right? And then they started bombing ISIS so that these people could get away. So we got involved in this to stop genocide, right? And if we leave now, that's what's going to fucking happen, okay? Now, that doesn't mean, you know, that doesn't justify 10 years of war. That's just the present situation now. We have to live with what, you know, that's the situation now. The situation now is that we can't fucking leave. We, you know, if we leave, thousands of people are going to die. It probably wasn't like that 5, 6, 7 years ago, but it is now. And it's really fucked up. And I don't know. I don't see a solution. I don't see a solution beyond getting together with all of the governments in that area, and I mean everybody, you know, and just concentrating on destroying these fucking people, you know. And I don't think that's ever going to happen either, because everyone hates each other in the Middle East, you know. Syria hates fucking Israel, and Iran hates Iraq, and it's just, you know, it's going to take a coalition of the people who live in that area to, like, work together to expunge themselves from violent, you know, fundamentalist mujahideen, right? That shit's not going to happen anytime soon. So, I don't know. I wish I had a solution, but I don't. And I really hope that, you know, that we don't see a lot of terrorist attacks like this in the future, but we probably will. I don't know. Everyone is insane, folks. Adios.